Go ahead, that was. She changed her mind. Oh, no. I didn't even put the right shoes on. I had something. I gotta go eat. I'll be here. I'll have to eat up there. All right, okay. All right. Who ain't? I got lady. Oh. Y'all so serious. Oh. How can you take up for you? Usually everyone will be starting right at 6 o'clock p.m. So very shortly we will get this work session started. I can't help Selma City Council is hereby called to order. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Selma City Hall. This time we'll have an invocation. We'll ask Councilman Randolph to please provide some invocations.
Oh, grace and heavenly Father, come to you, with the Son Jesus Christ and God, Father God, we have special blessing on everyone that is here. This blessing on our state outline, Father. Father God, we have special smooth as possible, Heavenly Father. Father God, we ask you to forgive us all our sins.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman. Let's all stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated.
Where's she going? Where's she headed? Where is he headed? Where he headed to? Oh, goodness gracious. Look, where's he headed? Huh?
Associated with holiday house, and I hope that we won't have any now. We changed our location from the Performing Arts Center to our own building in Heritage Village. Even though we've been told by the state that we do not have to pay the taxes, we collect them every year, the sales tax, and we turn them into the city, county, and state because we know you need your money. And that's how we make our money, is charging the vendors. So I hope you will endorse our event that we're going to hold this year, Monday, December the 6th, until Saturday, December the 18th. If you have any questions for me, I'll be glad to answer.
So, y'all, request waiver of minutes, because, you know, as it stands now, it's $50 fee for all minutes.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, ask the council. Okay.
All right, any fees,
Yeah.
I
want to make sure you.
yes, sir. And anything, any other things that may be connected with it, I mean, we're asking that they were. Because we try to share.
All right, want to just suggest that we all give some thought of what we're thankful for as we approach Thanksgiving. I think there's a lot to be thankful for. If for nothing else, that the good Lord woke you up this morning. That's enough to be thankful for. Glad to have Mr. Vardaman, Mr. Carter from EDA, Executive Director, and the Chairman of the Board here. Globe Metallurgical Abatement is on the agenda. That project is a good one. This is something that we have done before. There is a resolution investment, bringing 100 jobs to our community. Just be reminded that you cannot abate the educational portion of the tax. And so we are not talking about abating any portion of education tax, but the investment that they are making and the ultimate number of jobs created will most certainly bring us a return on the sales tax in a short window. Also, this is a one-time only abatement. If you have any further questions, these gentlemen are here and they are prepared to respond to any questions that you may have about the transaction.
Any questions, council, at this time concerning the resolution of the City of Selma, Alabama, resolution consenting to and supporting tax abatement for global metallurgical? Any questions? If we have those together. All right, Mr. Carter.
Actually, what we're asking for is a consent agreement that the county can abate the sales tax, because the reason for that is this is in the PJ and it'd be sales tax, no property tax. But the county's going to have to abate property tax, sales tax, and then you got the state tax. So the way we do that, we have a resolution which the mayor has, and that's what we need to get done. And then on the 13th of December, the county will go before the county and they'll actually do the we're there, so we get this done, and that'll be satisfactory to them, and if that happens, we're gonna have to look at that. Oh, and also, these people pay $20 an hour. need to mention that, that's their minimum.
Is that the starting pay?
Yeah.
Right. All right, well, thank you, council. If you have any other questions, we will have this, we will this up and down Tuesday. All right, thank you, Mr. Barber. Thank you, Mr. Barber.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, and we look forward to that favorable consideration on Tuesday. And packet is showing right now that we are doing the transfer of funds from the auto fuel to the equipment principal and interest payment line item. Yes.
All right, council, any other questions about item number 2? Hearing none.
Thank you. My third item, we finally got the appraisal back, terms and conditions of the value of the property is included. If you recall, about a month or so ago, we got the land survey back, and so it seems as though the appraisal and the survey brings the property in line with what we did originally to lease the pit. We did a lease purchase option. So we will be bringing to the council, we want to bring you the information this evening with the anticipation and understanding that we'll be bringing forward a request to go ahead with that transaction. We use a lot of dirt from that pit, and it's a good transaction for us. Council has any questions, we're glad to entertain it.
Any questions, council? Go ahead, Council Carlisle.
Was there a core drill included with this?
There are some additional details of the appraisal document. It was just so thick, I just didn't try to copy all of it, but I would be glad to provide it to council electronically. But on the question of core drills, I don't think so, but I'm not sure about that, council.
I think, to get proper, I mean, what they're saying is the sales comparison, we would need to know how much dirt is in there. And that would require some coring. That last method, I believe it's got to be,
Yeah.
the market driven and operating. We need to know how much dirt is in there, and then should be able to get an engineer core to make sure what we're getting is what we're getting.
We'll look at the details of that, get back with you. All right, any other questions?
And Mayor, let me just, I just want to get it clear from my mind.
Yes,
So
sir.
we're talking about the actual purchase of the property and also payment of this invoice as well, or is that taken care of already?
The invoice,
Is that already, are y'all asking for approval? of that?
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay.
I was getting to that, that is correct.
Okay.
The approval of the invoice for the appraisal, that is correct. And we really didn't need to ask for the approval on that because it's of the amount, but it is for information purposes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. All right, council, any other questions, for this item at this time? Hearing none, may proceed, Mayor.
Thank you. The other thing I have would be, announcement, the Salvation Army, dropped off correspondence. I'll just, acknowledge that they will be, let's see, writing, on behalf of the Salvation Army organization, dedicated to meeting our community needs without discrimination. At Salvation, we are about to launch their Red Kilo campaign. That's what they're working on. Largest fundraiser of the year. We'll meet briefly tomorrow in front of City Hall at 4 o'clock for a photo opportunity, and they are encouraged us to come by, photo op if you're available, to be supportive of the Red Kennel campaign with the Salvation Army for this holiday season. Wanted to make you aware of that. Yes, it's 4 o'clock tomorrow in front of City Hall. That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor, we appreciate that. All right, and now, attorney's report, Attorney Madison.
Good evening. Thank you, President Young, ladies and gentlemen of the council, ladies and gentlemen of the chamber. I was just talking to Ms. Ellison to find out that although we sent my report several hours ago, she got it. I just sent it 3 times. Yeah, we just
Just got it.
and I'm not surprised at that. I think altogether something like 42 pages. It'll take a while to download the but we will investigate the matter because whenever we send out a report from my office, I always request to be CC'd on the report to make sure I got it, thinking that if I got it, everyone else should see it. And that did not happen this time. I did get it, but everyone else did not. The first item of my report, Resolution R-121-21/22, Bancorp South, resolution for a boom mower. There are several pieces of heavy equipment that have already been approved for lease or purchase. And these pieces of equipment, in one instance, had been already delivered to the city, and Councilwoman Thomas was asking, well, why have this already been delivered? Are we just now last month, I believe, receiving some paperwork? That was a subject near and dear to my heart because I sent out some paperwork that took quite a while for it to come back. We had one issue last time where the last issue we finally had with this last purchase was a Form 8038-G, an IRS form about bonds. And I kept wondering, well, why are we even sending a form into a financing company about bonds? I wrote, called, emailed the company. The gentleman who could have handled that, Mr. Jonathan King, was out of the office for a while and he never got back to me. He finally did. But after we decided in the city to find out what happened previously, and what happened previously was that the person who was the acting treasurer had signed off on that form. The current treasurer and interim treasurer said he did not feel authorized or compelled to sign off on it. No one else could, at least at first, we thought no one else could, until I referenced your resolution allowing the finance director, the treasurer, or the city clerk to sign off on financial documents. And we finally did that in discussion with King and the mayor and internally. The mayor said, well, if we've done it before, we might as well want to do it again. The question was who could sign up on it. We finally figured that out. And the city clerk graciously agreed to do it. We got to sign and send it in. That was part of the holdup, the paperwork before. Was the holdup. In this case, we're moving to get equipment in. Paperwork supplied again to the same financing company, Bank South. We won't have or shouldn't have any of those problems. The resolutions presented before you, there are actually two of them. One on the boom board and one in item number 3. Another, I think it's 5 number boom blowers. That's the claw-like device that comes off the truck, picks up the trash, dumps it in, and keep going. But those two resolutions, 121-21/22 and 125-21/22, off of a boom mower, a mower that sticks out from the truck that allows them to cut grass on uneven topography or terrain, is one of the resolutions I'm asking you to consider for approval on Tuesday. The other one is for knuckle boom loaders for trash. Item number 2, resolution R003-21/22 is a severe weather preparedness resolution. This resolution is offered in light of February. Look at it. Yes.
Is this for the sales tax holiday?
It's for the severe weather preparedness sales tax holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's another one for school. But yes, that's what this is for.
Okay, so we've
And
done
then it's
this.
due in February. You have to give the state, well, you probably already did know. You have to give state program revenue 30 days advance notice that you want it on the list. So we're trying to get it in now to get it in next month, before January.
And y'all, we've done this.
Item number 4 is an annual statement resolution, $12,743.27. What you will see, however, is on the actual statement itself, dated November the 18th, received in my office, is an amount of $27,43.27 over 30 days. We checked, and supposedly that payment has already been made. I called the finance office to confirm that. And what I've discovered is that they have either already processed the payment or in the process of making the payment. So the actual amount that I'm going to ask to be approved is $10,000, not $12,743.27. Yes. Well, the invoice is not going to change because they sent it to us saying that we owe it, but we're saying that the payment is already in process for 27/43/27, and you've already voted on it. That's what I'm saying.
We just voted on the current.
Item number 5, Denton Cerroti, which used to be Cerroti Permit, is now Denton Cerroti, has an invoice. They actually have 2. I called today to confirm at the request of the mayor's office. I called to confirm the actual account balance that we owe them. We found out that this balance, while correct, does not include another $500. And I asked what for. They forwarded an email to our office for a matter called 0457, labeled 045776.00005 corporate general, fee of $500. I still want somebody to tell me what that means. And before Tuesday, I'll find out what the corporate general statement means and let you know what you want. The rest of the items are broken down rather well on the other pieces of supporting documentation, legal and accounting project. By that, they mean working in conjunction with BMSS
decided there are any legal matters that arose out of the Office of Public Examiners report of March 20th, 2020.
And Mr. Attorney, just so I can get this straight from my mind, the total balance due minus that $500 you were talking about is $20,910.10.
Correct.
Okay, that's,
And we just found out the reason it was broken down the way it is broken down. Was we called today to confirm what was owed on the $20,000 balance, or what the breakdown was for in terms of the $20,000 amount, only to discover a $500 accounts payable that they let Miles know about at the time.
okay.
Item number, well, that takes up number 6 too. Item number 7, 10/15/21 EMSS invoice for $27,325. This item was brought to my attention today, and I was willing to include it with my report. I believe they have a somewhat abbreviated explanation of their charges: management advisory services, rendered staff augmentation, 98.5 hours at $120 an hour, $11,820 out-of-pocket expenses, staff augmentation, $1,229, management advisory services rendered for phase 2, $14,276, for a total of $27,325. Item number 8 is State of Alabama Alcohol Beverage Control Board alcohol license application would be a fixed number for Big Star Grocery and Big Star Grocery LLC. It's presented to you to be placed on. I do have questions about that I'm asking of the first office about any further documentation to go along, because I got 2 answers. One's yes, one's no. So checking first thing in the morning, make sure we have all the documentation that's available, even if you placed on. Item number 9. There are 2 Attorney General's requests that were made from at your direction and from my office. One involving the propriety or lawfulness of a contract with a business owned by family of a council member. This is not a close corporation in which the council member or his or her spouse owns shares, and if the business which employs a council member in that business, if the council member's compensation is not affected by the contract and he or she receives no other benefit from the contract, the state attorney general's office in essence says you can do that, you can do the contract. There are in the conclusion 3 short, very short paragraphs. For those who don't wish to read every case or research every case, in the letter, the conclusion usually is a pretty good summary. They tell you what they mean and they usually mean what they say. And, they're saying the business can be done provided these things are also there. The other Attorney General's report dated November 4th, 2021 is concerning the solid waste collection on disposal services. The letter also is about a page and 2/3 and says in essence, I won't read it to you because you'll have a chance to read it between now and Tuesday, but it says in essence that Alabama Code Section 22-27-3, subparagraph A, subparagraph 1, 2015, that's a piece of legislation, provides that a municipality may by resolution or ordinance adopt rules and regulations providing for mandatory, the word mandatory is involved, mandatory public participation in and subscription to such system of services, unquote. They go on the sites and cases. And they further state that in instances where the county is delinquent, a municipality may suspend service, proceed with a civil action or both. Code section 22-27-5A and E as well are cited. And the final rule, next to the final paragraph, points out that because they are not privy to the specific terms of the contract, which has not been passed yet, and we're not sure will be passed in the current form as yet, because they are not privy to the specific terms of the contract under consideration, the Attorney General's office cannot provide any guidance as to what actions, if any, under the terms of the contract may be authorized by law. They're saying we're not gonna weigh in on the contract because we don't see it, we don't have it in front of us. And they don't have it in front of them because we're not finished instructing. Are there any questions?
I do. I read, both of your opinions that came in from two different, well, I read the section on the 22-27 3 according to the Alabama code. I read up on that, it was already put in place to the municipality or county commissioner with the body of, with our help, dealing with the garbage and the litter and stuff that we have in our ward in the city of Selma right now. Also, I read the two honorable judge from two cities. I read there the situation. One, Lynette, was totally different opinion with dealing with the garbage situation. Each county had a different. One was the county. One city had a different layout based on depending on, they were already in cooperation doing the same thing, but we are trying to. And the other county, Lynette wasn't. And it has some things that apply to the Alabama state code, which they said that if we were to do this, that we will be applying under the code of Alabama, which would require us to do guidelines according to the way the fines and stuff that we are talking about. But my main thing was concerning also that you are our attorney. And I also read where I went into the selected reading. And my concern is 94.01. With this, I would like you to go back and when you come back, then I will ask you that question because it was on my mind and it's some things that I read in there and I want to make sure that it was said that make sure we get a clarification from you as our city attorney on this based on the city.
Concerning the state constitution section 94.01, the economic and industrial development exceptions.
Yes.
Sure.
And that's when I said that I will actually, I brought it to the committee to look at it. That's the question.
All right, any other questions? Council, any other questions? At your leisure, council, please look at those items, especially the opinion and also the letter sent by the Attorney General's office regarding the solid waste collection and disposal service. Those are items number 9 and 10 in the Attorney's report.
And President Young, those items, none of these items for that matter, are presented to the council for the purpose of just gobbling them up whole, all, and not asking questions. I expect you to ask questions. That's why they're presented for you to review them. But I think you need time to read them in order to be able to ask informative questions to ask. So I'll stand ready to answer on Tuesday or later, whatever question.
Council Crown.
So based on this, would you think that we need to finalize our ordinance and contract and send it to the AG to get a specific opinion about the city of Selma and how we're doing this? Or would you say that this covers us? Because I don't see where any of these are exactly what.
There is nothing exactly like what you.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So typically the AG wants an exact, something
Well,
to go with.
I get your point. I believe, Councilman. What I take away from the question most of all is that you want to know if we passed ordinance and sent it in for review.
No, I'm saying when we finalize,
Or before we pass it, send it in.
before we pass, yeah, because we don't want to pass something that's illegal. So that's unlawful. So
We're not going to pass anything illegal, not if I ever pass it. You want to know if you send it before we vote on it.
So,
Before you vote on it, you want to know if you send in whatever we consider a final version of what you are asked to vote on.
right.
I don't know that it's necessary, but if that's what the council wants to do, that's what you do.
The only thing that I'm not seeing, once Councilwoman Thomas sent me on this one is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I may have missed that, but where we will pay the delinquent bills of the individual to the private company, and then file a lien on that individual.
If you recall, a resolution was presented to you some months ago, exactly with that point in mind, wherein it was requested that you consider making that payment of delinquent fees a public purpose for the purpose of garbage collection and disposal citywide. I still think that's a wiser course to follow. And then even if you still want to, I don't have a problem sending any of that and all of that into the Attorney General's office and saying, here's what we're considering as a finished product ready to be passed if there are no legal ramifications. They'll probably be glad to weigh in on it. I don't have a problem with that.
I think that would be wise to get the Attorney General's opinion.
But the distinction I'm making is the resolution declaring a public purpose, the payment of those delinquent fees first.
You want that?
A resolution that's already been presented to you to consider. That was included in the request of the Attorney General that you wanted to declare a public purpose.
That resolution was included in there.
Not the resolution, the request to be able to consider declaring a public purpose, a resolution of that sort.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying.
He's saying that the request that was sent in was asking if we can declare those delinquent charges a public,
The payment of
the payment of it, of public service. In
Public
order for
purpose.
us,
Public purpose.
purpose in order for us to make that payment.
Right, and we didn't get an opinion on it.
No, I'm saying that was included in a question asked of the Attorney General's office.
I know, but we didn't get an answer, we did not get a formal opinion on that question.
Well, you kind of sort of did. If it was included as a question and they did say, no, you can't do this, then you don't have any reason not to consider moving forward with it. The mandatory aspect of that title of the state code allows you to enact civil and even criminal. You have to read the entire letter. The mandatory portion allows you to enact civil as well as criminal prosecution for failure to comply with the ordinance.
Right.
And the declaration of paying those delinquent fees as a public purpose would open the door for you to be able to pass the ordinance and pay the fees eventually and collect and attach liens if people don't want to pay the fee. If
I
they're
don't see anything
probably
about things in here, and I don't see anything about the city paying an individual delinquent bill for a private, for a private disposal service. I see some things that are kind of around what we're looking at, but I don't see anything specific to what we're doing, is what I'm saying. And I think we need a specific opinion, but a specific opinion to exactly what we're doing. Just like the previous one that we got, that we just discussed, number 9 on this, that involves me. There are plenty of opinions out there that involve other companies and the way they do things, none of them are allowed, but we need to get a specific one for how our relationship is. And I think we need the same thing, a formal opinion specifically about how we're going to do business. Because I don't see in any of these how they are specific to what we're doing. If it was more specific, then I would understand.
May I read the first paragraph?
Yes.
Dear Mr. Madison, the city of Selma Solid Waste Collection Proposal Service. Dear Mr. Madison, this letter is in reference to your request for an opinion from the city as to whether the city council may pass an ordinance or resolution to adopt rules or regulations mandating participation in the city's solid waste collection or disposal services, whether the city, second part 2, whether the city may seek civil or criminal penalties for past due accounts, and number 3, whether the city may directly reimburse a vendor for unpaid accounts before pursuing legal actions against delinquent customers. Because these questions have been previously answered by the courts and this office, we're responding to your inquiry by letter. All cases and opinions discussed below are enclosed. I do not think I submitted all of those cases and opinions to you, but I haven't. I'll be happy to send them to you between now and Tuesday.
Okay. But I'd like to read them because the briefing in this letter does not explain what I'm looking. And I mean, I see that paragraph. I mean, I understand that, but what's below it? Whether the city may directly reimburse a vendor for unpaid account before pursuing legal action against a customer. I'm not seeing where that happens in that.
I follow. So that we don't stay on this all night, I'm going to Councilman Thompson, and then I'm going to say those things.
I just want to say, I hear what he's saying, but if the whole body of the council will look at what he gave us, and if you will look at the 2 cities that the honorable judges that did these, and from these opinions, from the AG office, you read that. Also, I was led to our selected reading under that 94.01. It would clarify everything that kind of like pointed out to us, that we will understand where we are and what we're trying to do. And I understand what Clay's saying. The answer that came back from the Attorney General was they're telling us they gave us assignment. As I said, if you read this, it gave us 2 cities where opinion came from, based on one that's already in the business and one was not in the business. And then we take both of those and we go to 94.01 for serving a purpose for this city, and read that, and then you will quite understand where we're trying to get to and what he's asking. He wants us to give the contract, but to make sure that we are on the same side, that we are not, it already said serve the purpose. It tell you not to spend city funds. It tells you that we first start reading, not to use city funds to pay bills and stuff. And we just want to be on the right.
All right, I think everybody made a very valid discussion. I see what Councilman Carmichael and what Councilman Thomas are talking about. I like it, Attorney, when you broke down that first paragraph of the opinion letter. And in the opinion letter, part 1, I'm good with what they placed in the letter. I can follow. Part 2, I'm good, I can follow. That part three, like Councilman Carpenter said, this needs to be flushed out a little bit better, for us. Because that part three on, and whether the city may directly reimburse a vendor for unpaid accounts before pursuing legal actions against delinquent customers. And again, I'm just putting my eyes on this, so I haven't had a chance to go over this thorough. But if that could be flushed out a little bit better, I think that would give the council satisfaction on taking this.
And Council President Young, I get it too. I had to craft the request for the opinion from the Attorney General's office, which is a very precise act because they give you the form. You don't get to just arbitrarily officially submit it. They give, I know you. I'm talking to the non-lawyers. They give you the form to fill in. You have so many characters you can submit. So the questions have to be laser focused and pinpointed. And what I'm saying is, I believe, and I'm gonna have to go back in the morning and tell you this tomorrow. I believe I may have even submitted the resolution for the public purpose with the request for an opinion, because I saw something that triggered in my mind the notion that if I didn't, they would possibly say, well, we don't know what the resolution contains. How do we know?
Right, and again, not to belabor this point, they say that all court cases and stuff answer this, but they really didn't give us any meat on part three.
Well, I think they did, but that's a lawyer's answer.
Right, but exactly, but for us looking in this letter, they didn't clarify enough.
And I'll send you the supporting documentation, which was another 15 or 20 pages.
Just even flush it out a bit, and I think it should make a satisfactory vote. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, just one more comment, that's not only for that resolution, it's for our ordinance.
Right.
I'd love to pass that resolution, clear this off our table, but we need to know. Thank you.
All right, any other questions, council? The attorney? Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Attorney, we appreciate it.
And I'm gonna have to ask you to excuse me.
Yes, sir, we appreciate it, sir. All right, now council will move on to our business items. I see that Councilwoman Benjamin is present, and so I'm going to ask, Councilman Randolph was going to discuss it, so I'm going to ask the tag team this issue for us concerning Shop Selma Sunday. If
Good evening, council.
Hold on a second, Councilwoman. Mr. Attorney, I know you said you had to leave, but this matter may just need your ear for a minute, and then after this, I appreciate it. I just wanted you to hear just in case it needs to be heard. And I'm sorry for interrupting.
No problem, I'm just trying to get some clarity on the matter. Okay. So I'm here to request the waiver of fees for small businesses to participate in Shop Selma Sunday. I'm advertising it as right after Thanksgiving, before you go to Black Friday, down the road to Montgomery, Birmingham, Providence, and spend your money to buy Christmas gifts, before you log on to Cyber Monday to buy your Christmas gifts. Shop Selma Sunday is what I'm advocating for. And so I'm asking you all to waive the fee for the vendors to come into one building where our shoppers can come inside of one building and see what Selma has to offer inside one particular building. They can go from vendor to vendor and shop Selma, buy their Christmas presents here. They won't know what we have if we don't have a showcase of what we have. We have so many things. Every time I wear something, somebody's asking, where did you get it? My reply is almost always Selma. Everything I have on is from Selma, including the mask. It's from Selma. And so we have it right here, and we have to keep pushing it and not just keep saying, find it local, find it local. We got to put some action behind it. And so you all give this gift to small businesses. You're not giving it to Amazon. Give this gift to small businesses. Waive the little $50 and allow them to, in one building, allow citizens to shop inside one building right after Thanksgiving, November 28th. We're asking you all to do that. Thank you all who I talked to on the phone today. Especially Councilwoman Lisa James, before I could get a word out, she was already in favor. And I really, really appreciate her enthusiasm for that on the phone. I appreciate Councilman Jimison's enthusiasm on the phone. I appreciate Councilman Randolph's enthusiasm on the phone today. So I had 3 wonderful, wonderful phone calls on the day saying, hey, we're all for Shop Selma. So I do appreciate the enthusiasm in speaking with you all on today. And some of you I spoke to previously who had some questions. So I'm here for those questions. Let's go.
She's ready for the question. Councilwoman Thomas.
What's the location?
The Anchor, which is right next to, right across from the side of the police department. I'll get you all the address, but it's owned by Mr. Aaron Roper, the Anchor, that won the beautification award, just to give you a point of reference.
All right, Councilman Thomas.
Yeah, and all of the businesses, there's confidence, they got business license already, they already established business in Selma, but they just come in one location.
You just requested the waiver of vendor fees for all of those businesses that
That's it.
are gonna be located in Anchor. And if that this
So
Sunday,
it can be a one-stop shop. The Sunday right after Thanksgiving, because we know big money will be spent right after Thanksgiving. That's when the Christmas music starts playing at Walmart and all these places, and people start spending money and buying Christmas gifts. And so before that money goes up the road, we need to spend it right here.
okay. And any other, go ahead, Councilman James.
I don't have a question, but I guess I just have to say that when it comes to Selma, we need to support Selma.
Yeah.
And I'm a big sucker of giving back, so I'm excited. I saw it somewhere online somewhere. That's very good. But when we can get one business house, if you go to Purple Two, you got some beautiful clothes there.
Yeah.
And we got, you know, we got to the shop and sell it and get that revenue in and stuff. So I want to thank you for bringing it to the council.
Yes,
And I'm
ma'am.
in favor of doing what we can do to make it count.
Councilwoman Thomas.
Yeah. I'm with doing what we need to do to keep our money in the state of Selma. I thank you, people, for keeping Selma. As our business, all business is gonna do this to make for us to shop here in Selma, do some of the things that we provide.
All businesses that want to.
All business want to be a part.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Jennings.
Thank you for coming up there, sir. Yeah. But, the building, I've been there a few times. Gave it all the vendors, and they merchandise. If not, they be giving out gift cards, some coming in by some, get a gift card for $50 and go back to their business.
Sure, it has a
Shop like that, whatever.
Yes, sir. It has a double floor. I'm not sure if you visited the top floor. So the Anchor has 2 floors to it, and you have the inside and you have the outside. Should we have to move outside? Hopefully we do not. People will flow in and out from, you have the early birds who don't go to church, and then you have those who do go to church, they'll come after church. So hopefully the flow will be balanced where we won't have to move from on the inside from having 2 floors available to us.
Mr. Attorney, do you perceive any legal issues with waiving the vendor fees?
I had a chance to think about it, but first of all, I love the idea.
I do too.
I've had to talk to my wife about spending more money, so. And now I think I'll put my foot over my mouth and put my foot in it, because she will too. But the bottom line is, every time I think of buying anything in Prattville or Montgomery now, I think about the tax dollars that are leaving Selma, going to another municipality. So off the top of my head, I was thinking I would do what the deal is obviously much more. When is your date?
It's November 28th.
So we want to go on Tuesday.
That's fine, and I can have the
So you
information.
have to go out to Candace and me.
Well, what I'm saying is I can have whatever information I need to get.
But right now, just off the cuff, and I know I'm putting another word on the spot, because you're not seeing it, but if you do, you'll let us know.
The thing that pops to mind is public purpose,
All of it.
public purpose, and I can probably.
Draft something,
I can
declare.
probably find a public purpose. Councilwoman Thomas and I have an ongoing debate about, well, not debate, we actually have an discussion, we have an interesting discussion about public purpose.
And if we need to pass the appropriate resolution declaring public purpose to get this done, I think.
And all I'm saying is you definitely know before 30.
Okay, Tuesday, yeah.
Mr. President, if I can speak to help you out with your purpose. All of these small businesses live here, born and raised here, they spend their money here. Okay, so these businesses that I'm talking about, they spend their money with other businesses here. It is open to everyone. This is a no-brainer for those who think that it is not. It is a no-brainer. This is to support us citywide. Otherwise, we can let them take those dollars and drive them down the road.
I think I said I like the idea.
I think you did too. That's wonderful.
I got one question. Area I go in, couple of things, I never get time to meet. So, then, actually, we're gonna open up a bid called ALS Van Code.
I love it.
Yeah, so, we're gonna. Yeah, this next whole time.
I will, I'll go around that copy too. Okay, I
So,
will.
I wanna buy some, I don't mind buying women's stuff as well. Yeah, I mean, but what I'm saying is, I've been on.
So what you said?
Yeah, I've been on.
So I'll make sure I make a specific effort to put that in there.
Councilwoman Thomas?
I just want to comment, thank Ms. Benjamin for loving Selma so much, she's still working so hard to keep things open.
Yes, ma'am.
And any other questions? Okay, and I too, Councilwoman Benjamin, would like to thank you and Ms. Selma for bringing both of these extraordinary ideas.
Absolutely.
I think it's been mentioned before, but I'm gonna say it again. Y'all, the economy works best when it's circular, when we keep the money going around in Selma. But a lot of times, we have a shoot, we take money out of the circle. So this is an attempt, a great attempt by both parties, to actually keep the money in a circular rotation for Selma. So buy Selma. And don't just wait till Sunday, buy Selma every day.
That's a fabulous closing argument, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Councilwoman. We appreciate you. All right, council, let's move on to those, Councilman Randolph, you got the next.
Like on snow, I got a local, contract, first one, some rain, Mr. Fix, what's Mr. Fix?
Back off the feet.
Back on the pit, so if I think about Tuesday, I'm bringing it here.
Yes, sir.
All right, but, I got a purchase order for snow clean $5,000. We're gonna need, clean us and add some more right away.
And if you get that number for the other contract, and just let me know, so we'll take care of that. Okay, all right, thank you. Now we'll move on to Councilwoman Thomas, James Thomas, and you have items 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yes, I like it, I'm always about following up, like, we're going, when anybody see us. I got a lot of, I'm following up on, report. I haven't got my report back from my last council meeting. From the work department, on, Crestwood and the potholes, the holes over in that area, they need to, I keep putting work on it in. Is it okay to listen in on still on? But I need to, this is very important. Do you know why it's important? It should not be where, my job is to represent the board itself. My job is to respond to the citizens. If the citizen, call me out, I went out, two times go out, and still not working. This is like the third or fourth time that I'm still out of work order. And when citizens call me and ask me, well, what is the holdup, what is the progress? Me, I just called, asking the city to, reapply. And, this is again, I would like the citizen in that district to start coming before the body of the council to address their issues to the public works director. Because I have, did what I was supposed to do as a representative. I just want they want their area, the potholes fixed over. It hasn't been done, and it's work ought to be put in over a month, maybe 2 months on 3. And, I just want to get an update on the pothole in several areas located that they're doing. And also, the pothole on, Buckeye, going down the North Star. I don't understand why they keep bringing dirt, putting in there, and then when the cars red out, the hole gets big, and the resident want to get, asphalt put in. My next, thing is, traffic lights.
Could I say something? Before you go to your next? The county got a pothole repair system that they use. Maybe we can get down with the mayor and infiltrate us. I repair the pothole. I'm not saying our mean is not doing it right, but there's birch.
Well, that truck is better newer than ours. You know, we lost the equipment that really the right, because someone stole it, really the right way to put the asphalt in there. All they're doing is dropping, asphalt and having it shell and breaking. But, we just need to get, these issues taken care of. They keep bringing back, it's some kind of dirt, they put in there, but it don't last long. The traffic going in and out there. They just put something in there and the whole, they call me back and I went back out there. The hole is back there again. So, it doesn't make, we just need to, public work need to take care of that issue for them.
And also, I like to get those, go field trip one day and, County. They got this contraption, I was on the back road, this road, really power road, yellow road, not yellow road, here. And this machine went down the road, it ground up the power, it's at the same time. I was like, it went down the road, I was like, and it's like, they did like a mile stretch in about 3 hours.
Pretty much.
And, so maybe Mayor,
Keep on.
maybe we could, get together and see, I know it's good piece of equipment.
Okay.
But they were paying,
Pay
for itself.
Pay for itself.
That's a good suggestion, Councilman Brand. All right, Councilman Thomas.
And my next one is we've been talking about traffic light, for quite some time, in our residence. Right there on one, that's moved like in our for a minute. And it's just about causing incident. And the reason why I say this because first of all, our gas tax is supposed to be used for things like this that we need on our gas tax. I'm just wondering, if we use our gas tank for some of these things that we need for our city? You got a like Franklin. Your light will make you better be very careful. You have extra. You have a light on Franklin. I have 2. One on Church and the other answer. It changed so fast. The time. One car might be went, and then you gotta wait, you don't know if the light on green or what, and another car coming. So we have some different problems with the same traffic light. We've been talking about this for the last 4 years. And I think we need to see where our money for our gas tax can be used on at least if replacing these lights. And, I'm just asking for some lights, more like, we need some lights up there. Also, the traffic light on Summerfield in, Kingsley. You get fixed at one time, it's a caution light coming in and out with traffic coming. I need that light to be taken care of. I'm gonna work on it back again. Also, I have a sidewalk repair down in the bottom on Elliott Anderson. This came up when the hurricane came through. It pulled the whole branch of tree up with the sidewalk. And I put in, when Henry had that list saying that they were gonna go around and, remove these huge trees and get these sidewalks repaired. So I have a sidewalk that people walk on, but we got, within 1 year now, hurricane came through, that I would like to, I've been doing some research on trying to find some cleanup, grant to get some of these things taken care of in the whole, in other wards too, that need to be done. That tree needs to go. It came up with, later hurricane and pulled the whole sidewalk. And the citizen down there on Elliott Anderson, people deserve that, but we don't need that. We need to get that wrong. We need to get that sidewalk back. Put down. The next thing is, my concern is, follow on we're not getting the tree work done. We voted on it. And I had asked the last time that, Ms. Ellis, send that, information. You know, we voted on the tree for Mr. In that area down on, Kingsley and, I think it's the street one now, back behind me in the park. Me and, Harvey, we haven't got that done yet. So what is the problem? We have one of the and we asked why it's not, the work is not being done yet. It has not been done because the gentleman, called me in, and, I told him we voted. So Mr. President, we need to find out. I know right now we have, we need to find out. We voted on something to be done.
I think the best route, remember the mayor had said, when we want to know some information, if we put it in the form of an email, if we could get the council secretary to compose an email, because it wasn't just you that was impacted. You said Councilman Harvey as well.
It is the last time asked to send it in an email.
So asked to send it as an email already?
I don't know, the last council meeting. I don't even remember that conversation.
Okay.
I just remember.
So let's get it put in the form of an email, and that goes not just for Councilwoman Thomas and Councilman Harvey, if there's any others, it'll be best if all of us in one night. And so if you can get with, Ms. Ellison, by no later than tomorrow, 5 p.m., so that she can compose an email. Okay, well, give them a chance to, because they may go think after we leave meeting. So, get that information, Ms. Ellison, and then I think.
And I
get some
hope that
results.
we will have better connection of moving forward with in 2022, like
Yes, ma'am.
other cities, when we are elected officials sitting up here trying to take care of citizens, that they should not have to be, that's why we're here
Yes, ma'am.
to
To
serve.
serve public service.
And I hope that we can do better by getting there immediately.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we'll get the information, Councilwoman Thomas.
Are you speaking of any workforces out there, or are you speaking of?
I was just mentioning tree cutting, since that's what
So
she
we
was
voted
talking
on
about.
that.
And so let's take care of tree cutting this time and then get the next one next time. So tree cutting. Thank you for that clarification.
And the next, is, remember we did, when Mr. Hick came and told us that they were gonna do like, have, all the stuff from the public works and everywhere. We never did get a report, and I was looking for it in our report of where the auction sell off the city property. Back here, they have, I think they had a sale in September the 8th online. And, I did not see what did they make off of this auction? No one ever came back and gave a report, and I was trying to find it in our month, September month, where that, fund that we received out there. I'd like to know how much we did receive off of the auction. City property that was supposed to be auctioned off. You never came back to the body.
You just want to.
Yeah, we would like to have that, at least to know that was it was fine. So what? I didn't see it, I was looking for it.
All right, can we place it in the form of email as well, a request, to find out the results of, what was purchased at the September auction?
And my last one, is I don't know who's bringing the, we call it the, total, backhoe. Backhoe, is, I don't know if it's waterworks or the city bringing the backhoe into the neighborhood, but that backhoe is destroying the city property. Somebody did a street sign out there, a whole street sign down off of it, and begin to, someone was over there today with the backhoe, and they used it in drug dealers, tearing up the concrete in part of the playground area that I'm trying to get here. I don't know if it's the water or if it's the equipment still sitting there now. And when you drop that thing heavy, it becomes wow, and whoever was riding there, just have to damage the street sign. So I have another street sign put up on Kyle, because it's been in and not the whole street sign now. So that concludes my report that answered a follow-up on some of these things being done in the whole chat.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Councilwoman Thomas. Yes, Ms. Hudson. This was the state auction.
No, it's it.
It was their auction we did.
Good.
We auctioned off all that,
You want, I know what you're talking about now. Yes, you want the results from that city auction, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
so
Yeah.
they'll get rid of all of the stuff.
The city auction, yes, ma'am.
Cars,
Thank you.
all that stuff. Remember you can't.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Gotcha.
It was done online, September 8th.
You want to see what the results?
What did the city get off of that? Because
Right,
somebody did come back to us.
right.
And I was looking in the report, that's what I was looking for in our report, what do we make off of that?
Very good. That's a very good point. Very good observation. Thank you, Councilwoman. All right. Next item, council, on your agenda is the consulting contract. It's actually called the Tri-States consulting contract. Y'all remember a couple of weeks ago, Mr. William Scott came before this body at a work session, and he presented a consulting service agreement, and he was requested that we take a look at it. I am requesting that we vote on this on Tuesday. I'm hoping for a favorable vote. I believe this is something that is much needed. There have been many other municipalities and county governments that have utilized this particular company, but all of them are getting someone to help them with their COVID, with their Midwestern planning expenses. And so I believe this is a good and a necessary thing that will help us extend the ARP funds appropriately. Because all of us want to do it legally, ethically, and more. I think that this is a good help for us from Tri-States. And they passed out, if you don't have, I have a few extras if you need one, but it's in the little booklet. It's the last page, is that agreement, which spells out the terms. Right? You need one? Gotcha. All right. You got one? Okay. I have another one. Take this to Council Carter. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Council, we'll vote on that on Tuesday. And then the next thing, the ALM Economic Development Academy. Those of us that attended the league a couple of weeks ago, several of us participated in the Economic Development Academy. We had 5 representatives from Selma. We thought we could have 7. We found out we could only have 5. But at the conference, the purpose asked a question on whether or not we could actually add 2, because he thought that some of the people that needed to be a part of this committee were not a part of it. And so that was a good question, because at the league, Brian Parker, who was over this program, was already ready with a response. And they, in Brenton, and they had already looked at our specific issue and said that, yes, we could add 2 other individuals to serve on this that needed to be and have a place at the table. Because there's going to be a lot of work in this, and there's a lot of questions that need to be answered from the economic side. Already with the city, we've got planning and development at the table. That's excellent. We need to have that. We have the mayor at the table. That's excellent. And we have SRA represented. But there was also a discussion, we needed somebody possibly from EDA, economic development. We're talking about economics. We need Selma, Dallas County, EDA, and possibly somebody from the Craig Field Airport Authority, because they're handling a lot of economics. So council, right now we have 5. But remember, we took a vote and we added 2, but we thought we could have those 2. So really, we need to add 2 based off of this new information, that we can have 2 people add to this committee. So we need to vote on that Tuesday on the 2 people that we're going to add to this committee. And it's still the same thing, $200 per person. Councilwoman Thomas.
I'm concerned about, when you said great field economic development, what are we doing? What are they doing out here? What is the person doing out here now? As that could be part of the economic development that's moving forward. What is the person?
I was just saying that we might possibly want to consider them because they have an economic development out there on Craig Field. And so I know that anything involved in new industry or whatever, they are going to be part of. So I was just saying possibly, but we can, decide.
Can you tell me who is the person that's out there?
Mr. Jim Corrigan is currently the director. And then Mr. Wayne Bartman is with EDA here locally. And so I know, but I know that Councilman Carmichael had shown a very, very great interest in it. And we voted on Councilwoman Thomas. But maybe they still both really, really, really want to be a part of it. But I do think for the purposes of answering all these questions, that we need some people that are going to be able to provide those answers from the economic side. And I know that either Mr. Bartman or Mr. Corrigan could definitely help us. One of them, if not both. So, Councilwoman Thomas, or Councilman Carmichael, y'all want to say anything on this, because this is the next one.
If somebody from one of those authorities don't sell, go to the scatter, I'm fine. If one of them is going to go.
Councilwoman Thomas.
Y'all know next time.
Well,
Next year.
I just want to.
Yeah.
For,
I'm probably not going, yeah. Thank you. But
okay,
I was under the impression that Councilman Carmichael was still going to participate with another individual, which is why I agreed to give my flight.
okay.
So, it's fine with me.
So what we will do between now and Tuesday is find out which one of those individuals would be willing to serve on this academy. Thank you for your graciousness, Councilman. And we'll find out which one of them would be willing to serve. And then whichever one will take a vote on Tuesday. And since we've already voted for Councilman Carmichael, it wouldn't be necessary to have a vote again, since we've already added him. But we would take a vote to add one of them on this Councilman Thomas. Is everybody okay with that? Everybody? Okay. Thank you, Council. Yes, sir. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, on Ninth Avenue, this, they have some major facilities. And, Raymond got some estimating and stuff, called $27,000. We have some money left over in that, student grant, and we have that $4 million. So if Brady get the documentation, students got like, because it's like, right behind, First Canal Bank, it's the bank there. Those people, also come in there out, every time it rains, also, I was trying to keep it safe.
And do the right thing, folks.
So we definitely, the money will come from the city, come like it, if they bring it up to us.
Get it all ready here. Councilman Thomas.
Oh, that's what
Oh, what's it, Councilman? Did you finish up there? Oh, go ahead.
on May, I sent the report in at, on May, at Reverend Marshall. I've been out there several times for him. And, I think the engineer, I think, public work, everybody's been out there. But even the family has spent their own money trying to find out what's the problem with it. And they said it was the city side. Right now, they can't even take a bath, they can't even use the bathroom. And, called me around the other day, I just went over there, and, she just said that they need this problem taken care of. They did what they're supposed to, and the people that from the public work keep coming back, and she said the engineer came, but she said they don't understand when they're at home, and they can't do nothing, they wash the clothes, they can't, you know, the rest of it. I don't think we should be mad at the, residents, citizens having this kind of, living like this. If we got issues with, problems like that, I think we need to try to take care of these issues. Because this been going on with them, they say 2 weeks now. So,
Has anything been submitted in the form of work order or anything like that?
yeah, I did work on it,
Okay.
and even they called public work to come out.
Okay.
Real Marshall had public work out there, and even, they had, Ray Hall out there, and everybody, and they called me, I didn't go back again, because they said that nobody's taking care of the issue, why would it not being solved? So I think we need to, I'm asking them to take care of this issue for them, because we can't use the bathroom, and you can't wash clothes, it's so serious.
Those are basic functions that all of us need. So can we also get an email, I'm sorry, Council Secretary, can we also get an email, sent and get the, status update on that specific item that Councilwoman Thomas just
I think
mentioned?
we're going to council, the one you just gave me, gave the one next
Mm-hmm.
they haven't had to get.
Okay, they have, got it.
Oh, they already been out there.
Okay.
They been, but I just didn't do it.
Okay,
So they only.
you just said it Tuesday,
Yes, and she told me about maybe.
and so they went out there when?
Mhm. They went already first, and they called me back to put another work on. They were in already, but they not done anything, so they called me back and want me to put another work on and try to make it move fast.
Okay, and because of that information, can we just ask that we get something from Mr. Hall or somebody to tell us what's going on, more definitive, kind of secretary? Thank you, but that's, we feel for those citizens, because that's a tough situation.
If you don't, everybody, it's that. It's just their.
It's six side, they was spending money, they paid, their own, come out, it's been money.
Okay.
It is on the city side, and the city side, now it's on the city side, but no one doing it.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Councilman Jennifer. Green. Councilman Harvey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess maybe an explanation, you mentioned there was a sanitary sewer grant. Can anybody tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've been around a long time. It's, doing, everything. I think they're like $48, sanitary sewer grant. I want to say like $600,000.
It's FEMA, right?
No, it's a sanitary sewage grant, sewage on.
I know funds. It comes from FEMA, it's like revolving. So,
I don't know.
you have to apply every time to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
And to get further clarity on that, why don't we get something sent to Ms. Wu? And she can maybe get, because some of us are newbies and we don't, it'd be good if we could have a copy of it or something, if we could have. Is she on there? Ms. Wu? Okay, well, that might be, she might be able to hear us now, but let's get something to Ms. Wu, since she deals with that specific area. Okay, all right, Councilwoman James.
I didn't have anything on the agenda for anything, but I just have some comments at the end. Can I go make my comment?
Go ahead.
Okay. I think, as a new council, and we were trying to do what's right, I think we all should participate in the Selma parade. It looks good as a whole council would be in the parade. You know, I'm just speaking because, you know, sometimes we get caught up and say we forgot. I'm just speaking that it looks good for all of us to be in the parade. And also, something I don't like to, we had two people come up today about ways of fees. And I don't want to put the thing here at one person for alternative opinion. You know, so we don't want anybody to feel bad. We're gonna ask on both of them.
That's what I did. I asked for both. I said, I was asking for both.
Okay, so we just want to make clarity on it because it's been in my spirit for a whole week now to tell the council, you know, it's been a whole year. It's been a whole year that we've been in office. And I think it's time for us to really see and work together. Because the public, if you're in the public, they're saying we're not working together. And that's their opinion, and we just said, but it's just been my spirit, you know, I love all you all. I want to work with all of you all. And I think once you work together in peace, we'll get more done. So I just pray that we, you know, have a successful year that's coming up, when we work together and we make Selma shine. Because, and then I want to thank Lamar Snow, because he's cleaning up, he's making the city look good. So it's time for us to look good as council. And I really want to take my hat off to Lamar. Lamar is doing things that we're not even paying him for. I mean, in Ward 4, we had it so clean, somebody came back and looked like they did on purpose, just throw bags of garbage out. He went back and got it up again and asked for a dime. So I have to say, thank you, Lamar Snow, because he's doing a. We walk around, looking better. We just got called, Selma is looking better. So we can make it even better if we pick up ourselves around our own home. Let's not pass our track that somebody else did. We need to just pick it up, put it in a bag, and if everybody do that, we won't have to worry about nobody bending over and because I just feel like the poor guy, I don't see how you sleep. But so that's just been on my spirit. That's my opinion, but I just said, but I feel like we can get more done if we work together as a group and not as separate. So let's get some things done, Selma. Let's participate in everything for Christmas, because it's a spirit of giving. And if we have these businesses out here want to continue to be in our community, we need to support them. That's black and white. Because Selma can thrive, and I believe we can make it thrive.
Councilman Carmichael.
Since you brought up, since you brought up status contract, I was gonna put that on here, but I talked to Attorney Madison, I thought he was gonna bring something to the council. But he didn't, so I hope he brings it to you. If he doesn't, then I may move forward with something. I just want to let y'all know, I think I brought it up at the last meeting. But he had told me that he thought it was okay to roll these. We're actually, fixing the street, the curbs, the gutters, and clearing alleyways, so that they can be passable, because they're impassable. So he said that we could use all these for those specific things. And I thought we were going to get a contract with it, so I'm hoping we see that Thursday. If not, then I may ask that we move forward. I may use, just like President, I'm trying to do this right. So I just want to let y'all know.
Thank you. All right. Now we'll go to committee reports. Public safety, we got Thanksgiving coming up next week, so that's what threw us back. But we still will be having a public safety. I assure you, we will count on time.
Please.
Yeah, public safety.
You'll be surprised how many people are gonna come out for public safety.
Yes, sir.
Because, people have, I just want people, you got people now want to address the issue.
Yes.
And when people get tired of gun banging and gun violence and can't speak, they won't.
Yes, sir. All right. That's all for public safety, because we're gonna have an upcoming meeting. Any other committees want to report? Okay, who raised it?
Yeah, public works, some of y'all saw the end of that, but we've come to a close on our public hearings. We heard a lot of good recommendations and points that were made, in this garbage initiative. And we do intend to make some small changes, not necessarily changes, just adding some details to make sure that we aren't, leaving anybody out or picking on anybody, or what certain little things that need to be added and detailed and things of that nature. We didn't quite get done, so we're gonna have to call another public works committee meeting. I'm not sure when that's gonna be, but we will try to get that as soon as possible so we can get this thing rolling. Hopefully, one of our big questions was what we discussed earlier with Attorney Madison. I'm hoping we can get some clarity on that when he sends us those opinions. If I see something that I think is the same situation as Selma to what we're trying to do, then I'm good with it and moving forward. Councilwoman Thomas brought up a good point. When we do a resolution to adopt this ordinance or within the ordinance, we do need to say that cleaning up this garbage is going to be an economic benefit, because we're going to increase property value and increase property tax revenue. And I think that will go to serving that public purpose when we're having the case. It'd just be nice to see some of those things also.
All right, and Councilman Summers, I know you had here, but I'm going to Councilman Harvey, and then I'm coming to you for your committee. Councilman Harvey.
Thank you. I'd like to go back to, we got the finance meeting Monday. I've said many times the political process frustrates me, Monday night, I got frustrated. And I would remove my frustration led to that. I know it could have been portrayed as disrespectful. I meant no disrespect. I would like to apologize again. Sam, Christie, I was out of line. I apologize for that.
That's the big.
It's sometimes hard to.
That's a big man that apologize. Go ahead.
I would like to say on account of the budget, if we're thinking with good reason that the FEMA reimbursement is gonna be lower than what we budgeted, and that's gonna cause us to be out of balance, not having a balanced budget. There is a simple solution, and that being that the $2 million that we're receiving from the rescue fund are funds that can be a part of the budget. So if we need to immediately do something to make sure we have a balanced budget, the simplest process is to include the FEMA fund in the budget. BMSS said we needed to do that. We needed to capture it in the budget. Councilman.
Why do we not have balance?
Well, that's what I was saying. Yeah, I think it was brought up that since the FEMA reimbursement, we had projected it to be 1.2 or whatever, and then sure, the mayor said it may only be 800 or something. So it dropped us that $70,000 surplus disappeared with the projection those reimbursements may be less. And I don't know if that constitutes an unbalanced budget or not. I mean, you project your tax revenues, right? If your tax revenues don't come in. I don't know that that's the case. I'm just bringing that up.
Yeah, I don't think it's unbalanced, what we passed, because we projected that.
Yeah.
That based on 75% of what they said we spent the year before. But, I don't see how that, balance. I'm good with including just my opinion, I'm good with including the American Rescue Funds in the budget. But according to what I saw at the League of Municipalities workshop, we've got to have some policies and procedures in place on how we spend that money. And I think we need that in place before we put that into our regular budget. Yeah, we need to have a resolution that says that, each expenditure needs to go through some process. So that we can be specific with it. I think each expenditure needs to accompany a resolution as we vote on the expenditure and specifically outline it. And we need a policy or procedure in place that says that that's what we do when we spend it. And then I'm good at it.
And look, and when, another thing too. Mr. With that vote, we bring in Mr. Scott will help us a lot, keep us going to jail. Cause I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't put me in that head and nobody else. Cause I'm sorry there at what people not hurt. Now I'm seeing people now, these city council going to jail, y'all, in there, and I'm not going to, I'm not arguing. I want to follow the procedure, according to what they said. And I just talked to, he said, y'all be careful, how you proceed. And I rather for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, to make sure that we are not being led the wrong way with the American Rescue Fund. That's all I have to say.
And I will add in, great idea, you guys brought that up. I'll give you this. I have been dealing with these types of funds for the last 15 years. My former employment, I deal with U.S. with grants from government entities all the time, not only grants, but other types of funding that are listed in the federal register, just like this just the same as the ones are, I can give us a little guidance. I'm not saying you don't need somebody outside, I'm just saying I'm the
I know everybody, but I want to write everybody. I want to get right. I keep this council from being on channel 8 news and channel 12.
Okay. All right.
We will have a follow-up finance meeting, we'll just have, Thanksgiving next week. We'll get it.
And let me just add, thank everybody for working peacefully together on this, because that's how we're gonna get there. But let's not lose focus. We must get this budget entered into the system as soon as possible. Okay, we need to get this budget entered. And I think as soon as we have the next meeting after Thanksgiving, we are able to move. That's what I'm thinking. Because we want to go ahead and get the budget straight so that everybody can be all separate employees and get what they're due, and that, this, and the other. And then once we get that done, we need to find out, the way I'm looking at this, y'all, this is a couple of problems that we need to have. We need to find out specifically why the budget we voted on is not considered balanced. I would like to know the complete answer to that on why it's not considered balanced. All right, then, if it is not balanced, then we need to possibly work out what you're talking about with the American Rescue Plan funds or a portion of the American Rescue Plan fund to give us a balanced budget. Then we need to get that budget entered into the system so that all city services can be maintained, everything can keep going. Then we need to vote on these issues that we are going to, we need to vote on the issues that we want to take out of the American Rescue Plan. All those things that we looked at that we want to use American Rescue Plan for, we need to vote on all of those things. And if we give a favorable vote to the consultant, allow the consultant to do his job and get us the approvals that we need and whatever else that we need. And then I think after following those steps, we will somewhat be going in the right direction. That's just my little 5 cents that I want to add to it. Go ahead, Councilwoman. Okay, well, you do that.
First of all, we fine. That's what we supposed to. Now, we did a budget October 1st. Once we pass our budget by law, it was passed by this county voting. Then, no one has had the right to go and redo another budget when we already had security. That was the purpose of us putting security in here as an interim treasurer to make sure that these things get in and put in the system. Number 3, security was supposed to report back to the city body of the county that over finance. Things that happened to this budget should have never happened. Because first, the body of the county is over finance. We voted. Acknowledge the vote. It should not be that this city is operating without our budget in the system and then fostered because of what someone else wants to be done. And it does not look good for us going back through this budget when we had our chairperson as he was the chairperson of the finance committee. When we took time to read through the budget, and if he was good with numbers and everything, when we did that budget, it shouldn't have never come back and say that it was unbalanced. We got an unbalanced budget. And then we turn around and let Shakir meet and put the $2 million American Rescue in the budget without the consent of the body of the council. So this should be, our budget need to be in the system. This is going to be November. It's November, get ready to be December, and we passed it in October 1st. So all this changing of the stuff, I thought we need to do our business together. That's all that.
Okay. All right. Council Carter.
Well,
I didn't see that it was unbalanced. I saw that it was not balanced.
It's not valid.
Yeah. So that's why I'm.
Well, we'll get down to the bottom of it. We'll find out whether, maybe want to make sure that it's valid and balanced, right, and everything else. So we need to make sure of that. Go ahead, Council Secretary.
If it's invalid or unbalanced, we may need to hold all spending besides utility and payroll and not transferring any money and asking to buy items if the budget is not solid. And we just get the budget solid, we may need to hold all spending. And then except for payroll and except for utilities, and because we can keep up with that stuff. But if we're transferring and asking to buy items and asking to give raises, how can we do that with invalid and unbalanced?
Well, that's why the first question, as stated, is to find out if the budget that we have, just to make sure that it's balanced and it's correct. I think the word correct will cover everything. We want to make sure that it's correct. No, we don't have to do that. We want to find out what's the issue, why it hasn't been placed. So we don't have to go back through the whole process. We just want something definitive to find out what's wrong. Can I break it down like that? We need to find out if there's anything wrong with it. And if there's something wrong with it, we need to do what we need to do to fix it. That's all I'm saying. All right, go ahead. We're going to ask the question. We're gonna find out. We're gonna ask the question of our interim treasurer. That's their responsibility, working with the chairperson of finance. And I believe after those two get together, we'll have an answer. The interim treasurer is Mr. Secure County, and he's been working well with our finance. And we'll give a detailed explanation in writing. I think we need a detailed explanation in writing. And so we'll ask for that. And and we'll have that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try to target to have that by the time we have this finance. So when we have these meetings, we have the necessary information to make the right decisions. So let's try to get this information about what's wrong with the budget after Thanksgiving, so that we'll be able to act appropriately at the next time. And we will find out whatever we need to put in writing or whatever we need to see, we will find that out.
So we'll take what we don't know, so don't spend no money.
I didn't come out of my mouth. I'm saying we need to find out about the budget right now. And so that's what I'm saying. Anything else, council? Anything else? Anything else? Going once, going twice. There being no further business of the Selma City Council, this board session stands adjourned. No more.